Hello everybody, this is Finch from FlipSide Tactics and Dota Insight, bringing you episode 2 of Dota for Dummies. If you're not watching them in order, this episode is going to focus on attributes of Dota. That is the strength, the agility, and the intelligence. And also I'm going to talk a little bit about types of damage within Dota and how you can use the tools Val has given us to see what type of damage your abilities are doing and what your attributes are doing. So right away, this is the grid view for the pick screen, which I personally think is the best view. The card view is a little bit hard to navigate and things like that. But if you go ahead and you can hit control, you also can hit this nice little fancy button over here to get to the grid view. You can see the heroes are now nicely organized. Over here on the left is going to be all strength based heroes. Over in the middle it's going to be all agility based heroes. And then over here on the right hand side we're going to see all intelligence based heroes.
5 seconds.
So for this game I'm going to be picking Vengeful Spirit, and can talk a little bit about more once you get in the game. So if you go down here at the bottom, you can see you have your strength, your agility, your intelligence, also your damage, your movement speed, and your armor. It's all very nicely organized. It's easy to see. The numbers are big. They're simple. But if you mouse over them, it gives you even more information if you're worried about it. So right here, if you mouse over the damage and the armor and things, it shows you your attack speed, your attack damage, and your attack range. So Vengeful Spirit's range is pretty low at 400. And also you can see your armor, your damage resistance, and your magic resistance, all of which are good to know. The biggest one on here, I think, is the boots, the speed. If you purchase something like boots, you can see it moves up. If you don't have the boots, it goes back down to her base movement speed. It's a good thing to pay attention to, because you'll begin to learn which heroes are quicker than others and when you can chase people down or when you can escape. All this stuff is really good to know. But for the purpose of this video, I want to mostly focus on the strength, agility, and intelligence portion of Dota.
30 seconds.
It's a very simple system. It makes a ton of sense, but you have to just understand it right away. Valve does a good job of putting these down here because it shows you if you have any questions. So this is all across the board for all heroes. All heroes are going to get a point of strength, and they are going to get, let's move her out of the way here so you can see her pretty face. For all points of strength are going to give you hit points and hit point regeneration. All points of agility are going to give you increased armor and increased attack speed. Lastly, each point of intelligence is going to give you increased mana and increased mana regeneration.
No more bets, please.
That's all across the board for all heroes of Dota. The next thing you need to worry about is the primary attribute for that hero. The primary attribute, all it means is whatever point of, whatever attribute is your primary, that's how you're going to get damage. So in this instance, Vengeful Spirit is an agility based hero. Whenever she gets a point of agility, she's going to get the increased armor, the increased attack speed, but she's also going to get increased damage. So say someone like Puck, who is an intelligence-based hero, every point of intelligence will give Puck damage, mana regeneration, and a larger mana pool. That's pretty much all you need to worry yourself about as far as stats go and how they affect your hero. A lot of times, a pretty common mistake a lot of newer players will say to me is, I'm playing Vengeful Spirit, she's agility, therefore I should start the game and I should get 3 siblings of agility because she's agility. Well, no, you don't really need to do that because she's not going to be a carry and she doesn't really need the agility as much. You'd probably be better off picking up something like a Gauntlet of Strength. It's going to increase your health pool. Or say you're playing Tidehunter and you're having a hard time using all of your abilities, you don't have enough mana to get off your Ravage or something like that. Pick up something with intelligence. It's going to give you an increased intelligence pool, a little bit more mana, things like that are really good. So a lot of times focus on what the guides, if you go over here in the guide system, it does a pretty good job of showing you, what to build and things like that. Until you begin to understand what's going on, stick with those. They will help you. And also start thinking about yourself in the instances in the game. So say you're in the mid game and you keep dying a whole bunch. You're getting frustrated, I'm getting 2-shot, I'm dying. This is frustrating. Well, then go ahead, pick up something like a Bracer. It's going to give you a bunch more health. It's going to give you a little bit of damage because Bracer gives you a little bit of damage. And that just gives you more survivability. Same thing if you're out of mana, purchase something like a Null Talisman. Just start thinking about what you need during the game and then go ahead and purchase that. And so you can kind of build your hero accordingly. Next thing you need to worry about in-game is the types of damage within Dota. The main ones are going to be physical and magical. They kind of, they're pretty self-explanatory. Magical damage is going to be a magic-based ability. If you mouse over your abilities down here at the bottom, you just mouse over it, it's going to tell you. So Magic Missile, it affects unit target, it affects enemy units, and it does magic damage. Pretty straight, simple, to the point. Don't have to worry too much about anything else about it. It does magic damage. So if someone has a Black King bar and they are immune to magic, or someone like Juggernaut is doing his spin, he's immune to magic, you cannot use this ability on him. If you want to damage them with your physical damage, which is just your right click damage, you can go ahead and do that. The other types of damage within Dota that aren't as common, but you'll come across sooner or later, is pure damage. Now, pure damage doesn't take into account resistance or like increased damage effects. So someone like Pugna has an ability that increases magic damage on a unit. Pure damage doesn't take into account that, but also, say someone has an item like a cloak, they get plus 15% spell resistance. Pure damage doesn't worry about that at all. One of the more common pure damage abilities is going to be Enchantress's Impetus, and if you click on her, you can mouse over it, it'll tell you damage type, pure. And it's just pretty simple. It's just a good thing to know, because a lot of times it's frustrating if you can't use your magic based abilities on people who are immune to magic. You need to know what abilities you can use on people who are immune to magic. The last type of damage, which is not very common at all, you don't really need to worry too much about, is Composite. Someone like Beastmaster, his axes are Composite. Composite is a type of magic ability that, it's similar to pure damage, but it does take into account resistance. It's like a combination between magic and physical. Worry about that as it comes. In case of Beastmaster axes, the damage will go through magic immune units. Composite abilities are very, very limited. You're not going to see that many of them, so don't worry about it. Don't stress about having to know that. The main one's physical, magical. Just focus on that. Nice little handy tool that Valve added on top of telling you what type of abilities, what type their damage is when you mouse over them, is if you go over an ability like this, Nether Swap, it's a unit target, so you need a target on somebody. If you hit Alt, and this is by default, so if you change your hotkeys, it might be something else, but by default, you hit Alt and you hold it. It's going to bring up this nice little description text, so you can see it here in green. In this instance, Nether Swap, it tells you works on magic immune units. So if you just go mouse over regularly, you don't know that you can use this on someone who is magic immune. Say once again Juggernaut, he's spinning, you might think, well, this is magic and I can't use that on him. No, if you go ahead and hit Alt, you can see here that it works on magic immune units, and that's something that you'd probably learn sooner or later the more you play hero. But if the first time you play a hero, go ahead and just mouse over each ability and hit Alt, and you'll see if they have any type of text. So Magic Missile, it has nothing. It's straightforward. It does magic damage. It stuns. That's it. Something like the Aura, you can mouse over it. It tells you how the damage is calculated and things like that. And it's real simple. It's easy. It's really nice. Once you learn this, it's going to stick with you. You're going to begin to remember what abilities can do what and how and all that kind of good stuff. But for the time being, Nether Swap, it can go through magic immune units. It's good to know. And that kind of about wraps up the video for this week. That's kind of all I wanted to talk about. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to let me know. You can leave comments in the video, or you can contact us over at dotainsight.com. And also you can find out more of our videos and content over at flipsidetactics.com. And hopefully I'll be back next week with another good topic for you guys.